It is imperative to inform anyone who's going to perform a task exactly what needs to be done. Poor instructions can lead to production of bad products, damage of equipment, cause injuries, and even death. If an instruction seems unclear, it is always important to ask for clarification to make sure the process is done safely and effectively. In this video, a new plant employee is given a task without complete instructions. The new employee has been told to add 4 tablets into a lab solution that is being observed outside over the period of a few days. Since no instructions were given to wear personal protective equipment, she assumes the situation is safe enough to perform without proper attire. Also unknown to her, there are 2 practically identical containers being observed, and no one has told her which container she is supposed to add the tablets to. Not wanting to appear as if she cannot handle the situation on her own, she makes the executive decision to choose a container without knowing what the solution is or the possible consequences. As you can see, the consequences of her actions could have been catastrophic if she had made the same decision with a full-size batch instead of just a lab sample. The proper approach to this situation would have been that the person who told her to add the tablets gave complete instructions, such as, there are 2 lab samples on the ledge outside, one with a blue lid and one with a silver lid. The one with the silver lid is visibly larger, and you should not add the tablets to this container. If you do, there will be a violent reaction, so make sure you add the tablets to the smaller container with the blue lid. Also, be sure to adhere to safety protocol and wear proper personal protective equipment, a lab coat, goggles, and gloves when performing this task. Or, in absence of these instructions, the new employee should have taken initiative and requested more detailed information on the task.
Safety is one of the most important aspects of the chemical process industry. Governmental bodies like the EPA and OSHA were formed after hazardous situations like Bhopal so that they could set regulations to guide companies in the CPI to safer practices aimed at protecting workers and communities. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, is tasked with the primary goal of keeping the employees safe and out of harm's way. They developed process safety management as a set of rules to meet this goal. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, is concerned with protecting the environment and communities around chemical plants from hazards associated with toxic and explosive chemicals. They developed the risk management plan to provide companies with a set of rules to accomplish this task.
The Pascal-Gifford model of dispersion represents a vapor cloud that is formed from an accident. This vapor cloud travels downwind and affects surrounding communities. It's based on multiple factors such as the dispersion coefficients as well as the environment that it occurs in. The wind, the atmospheric conditions of the day and night, and the Pascal-Gifford dispersion coefficients are all functions of the concentration of the center line of the plume. The wind can vary from a slight breeze to gusts of wind. The atmospheric condition can range from poor to good, and based on pairing these up, the dispersion coefficients can range from small values to large values. By using the flow of the material, the dispersion coefficients, and the wind speed, one can calculate the center concentration of the plume. With a slight breeze and poor atmospheric conditions, a small dispersion coefficient is calculated. This is inversely related to the center concentration of the plume and results in a large concentration. This is bad for the resulting community.
Mental distractions from work. Having a bad day at home and worrying about it at work is a hazardous combination. Dropping your mental guard can pull your focus away from safe work procedures. You can also be distracted when you're busy working and a friend comes by to talk while you're trying to work. Don't become a statistic because you took your eyes off the machine just for a minute. In this next clip, let's take a look at how listening to music while working can become a hazard. In this video, we see a process control engineer working with a control board. It looks like he has decided to jam out to some music while working. An alarm sounds, but the process control engineer does not hear it. We can see that the music clearly distracts him from his work. Safety audits could be put in place to ensure workers are always aware of alarms. This worker would be informed that his headphones should remain at home while he's working.
Good housekeeping reduces the chances of hazards. How do we achieve this? Keep the workplace clean and tidy. Keep a watchful eye on floor surfaces. Check storage areas regularly. Keep up regular maintenance. And stay vigilant. Over 30% of the workplace accidents are caused by slips, trips, or falls. This could put employees out of work for weeks or maybe months. It is necessary to maintain daily hazard audits. This includes a walk around the work area and make sure it's cleared of all unnecessary tools and waste from previous activities. During the working day, it is the responsibility of all employees to clean regularly, put away any equipment that is not being used. When the job is completed, clear away all tools and materials and thoroughly clear the area. Although good housekeeping sounds very general and basic, neglecting to do so results in dangerous injuries.
Accidents are the leading cause of death, injury, and damage in the chemical industry. Accidents happen because unexpected situations happen. Some of them because procedures are not being followed scrupulously by operator. Lack of training. Others, the situation are beyond control of operator. On this video, we will see two electricians performing an safety procedure that leads to a fatality. An electrician and his assistant are trying to change the old pump with the new one. Before the electrician starts changing the pump, he ordered his assistant to switch off the main board before working. However, his assistant switched off the board and forgot to lock the switchboard. With a padlock, the procedure required to do the job safely. As a result, another person at the same department realized that the power is off on his area. He addressed himself on a switchboard and realized one of the switch was off and switched it on. Okay. Had all the procedure being followed, this accident couldn't have been avoided. Don't try to help someone if you will be the next casualty. Be aware of safety procedure for helping in emergency.
Failure to pre-plan work can result in hazardous scenarios. If work is to occur in an inappropriate environment, there is a higher probability for an accident to occur. Failing to pre-plan work can also result in critical, life-saving steps being left out of the work scope. Leaving these out can result in fatalities. In the Occupational Safety and Health Administration's Process Safety Management Guidelines, pre-startup safety reviews and job hazard analysis processes are outlined and require active employee participation. During the pre-startup safety review, if a hazardous activity is to occur in the process, it should be discussed if it can be made inherently safer by minimization, substitution, moderation, or simplification. If the activity is vital to the process, safety measures for pre-planning the work should be made. Job hazard analyses can ensure that these safety measures are being followed. In this next clip, we will see an example of how failing to pre-plan work can cause an accident. Two workers are discussing plans for a natural gas blow to occur to clean the piping in front of them. Management had decided that this was vital to the facility, and no discussion of making this process inherently safer occurred. Meanwhile, two more workers enter the facility to begin heating a bacteria sample to encourage cell reproduction. These workers use a burner to heat the sample. No effort to pre-plan the work happening in the facility had been made. While the burner is active, the gas blow occurs. If a pre-startup safety review had occurred, then the burner, or hot work, would have been identified as a hazard and the gas blow could have been stopped. This would have prevented an accident.
Layer of protections lower the frequency of specific accident scenario. To give you an idea how layer of protection work in a chemical plant, I'm going to explain a specific equipment using to process oil and gas. The equipment is a three-phase oil gas separator. On this equipment, you can see different layers of protections. Layer of protection against higher pressure. We have pressure relief valve, rupture disc, pressure control valve on the top of the vessel. In addition of that, there is another layer of protection against gas. This element protects the equipment and the installation and the people working on installation against the poison gas and flammable gas. Along with these two layers of protection mentioned above, the vessel depicted should be equipped also with dikes to contain any liquid from leak, the luge system to put down the fire. And finally, any work in a plant should be trained to intervene and control the abnormal situation in the process. What was explained here is an example in a small scale. What should layer of protection be in a big scale in a process plant?
Good day, and welcome to TTU Process Safety Bites. This section will cover training programs. Training programs are vital to the safety of a plant and its employees. These safety programs cover different hazards associated with the process the trainees will eventually be performing. Most safety programs begin with a lecture-style session, taught by an employee certified to impart the necessary knowledge. These sessions usually involve a lot of videos and discussions. Chances are, after your first training meeting, you'll receive some reading materials. It is important to remember these are not school books, meaning they are free, and if you don't read them, something could possibly blow up. New employees will receive a tour of the plant and a description of how the processes are done, including safety protocols and what to do if a problem occurs. So be sure to pay attention. Once you have completed your training and proven yourself worthy, you can now move on to be a valuable member of the workforce. Congratulations, you get to start chipping away at your student loans. But remember, training needs to be redone every 3 years for all employees, or sooner if there is a change in the process or equipment.
Are you prepared if an emergency occurs at your workplace? Emergency planning and response is required so that employees could respond effectively to the release of highly hazardous chemicals rather than inhaling them and dying. To make sure all your employees know what to do during an emergency, you should have a written emergency response plan and train workers' response on the plan. A list of people involved in developing and implementing the emergency plan should be mentioned in the risk assessment, so at a time of emergency, employees know who to call to get the situation under control. Emergencies can create a variety of hazards for workers in the impacted area. Preparing before an emergency incident plays a vital role, so you know where to go and what to do at an emergency outbreak.